Today I want to dispel some misinformation that is going around about the emissary for the Galactic Federation of Worlds, Elena Danan. For many years, she has been under the watchful eye of the Dark Ones, but over the past year or so, attempts to discredit the Galactic Federation of Worlds has stepped up big time. Elena is a French archaeologist and author whose lifelong contact with the Galactic Federation of Worlds, or GFW, began with a documented childhood abduction in the 1970s. During the incident, gray entities from the Orion-based Nebu Alliance implanted a neural device in violation of the GFW's Prime Directive, which is a non-interference protocol that governs contact with emerging civilizations such as Earth. If you don't already know, there was an exchange agreement between our government and dark extraterrestrials. They traded access to Americans for extraterrestrial technology, but actually we received very little technology, and they abducted many more people than what was agreed to. I will link the video that explains this agreement by the Majestic 12 in this description. The linked video explains the agreement and contains a link to the declassified Majestic 12 Ultra Above Top Secret manual, so you want to check that out if you don't believe that people were abducted. A Federation intervention was led by Pleiadian Commander Thor Han Eridjan to save Elena, and her abduction was intercepted. The Federation neutralized the implant and repurposed it into a secure quantum communicator that remains active and bidirectional today. This implant is what allows Elena to visit various ships and locations. Sometime in the near future, humans will learn that there's ways to travel without physical transport. This implant enables Elena to engage in real-time telepathic exchange with Thor Han aboard the Excelsior, which is the GFW's primary orbital station beyond lunar range. Now, I know this sounds insane, but Tim and I were present when she was communicating with Thor Han during a Federation display in Westminster, Colorado. This was a rare opportunity, and Tim and I were meant to be there. Elena made a promise that there would be a display of the Galactic Federation ships, and she came through in a big way. You will see the video of that night that we saw with about 1,000 other lucky people towards the end of this video. Over 5 decades, Danan has participated in over 200 onboard briefings, documented in her publications, and corroborated by independent scientific, governmental, and eyewitness sources. She made the following 29 disclosures that were publicly confirmed, which has established the reliability of her Federation interface. In November 2018, there was a UFO sighting cluster over Ireland during Danan's physical transport to the Excelsior. Local police and media logs confirm multiple craft. In December 2020, the publication of A Gift from the Stars detailed 110 extraterrestrial species and the GFW structure. Just days later, former Israeli Space Security Chief Haim Eshed publicly confirmed a Galactic Federation treaty with Earth governments. Then, on June 6, 2021, there was an evacuation of Dark Fleet assets from Antarctic subterranean bases. Contemporaneous McMurdo Station personnel emails described identical Black Triangle departures. On July 17, 2021, a GFW diplomatic summit on Jupiter was synchronized with the signing of the Artemis Accords. The timing matches classified briefings that were later declassified. On August 30, 2021, there was an exact quotation of the Prime Directive matching Gene Roddenberry's 1964 draft, identified by Danan as a GFW transmission to the Star Trek creator. Between February and April 2022, 3 Proxima Centauri exoplanets with nitrogen-methane atmospheres were discovered. James Webb Space Telescope data released in 2024 aligns precisely. From March to May 2022, Neptune thermal anomalies, a Mars magnitude 5.2 quake, and International Space Station footage of 47 luminous spheres in Earth orbit were each predicted 3 to 14 days prior to each event. And finally, from 2022 through 2025, there were 17 additional predictions spanning Ganymede arc reactivation, TRAPPIST-1H liquid crystal oceans, and crystalline interface technology, matching Dr. Marcel Vogel's 1980s quartz communication patents. The scientific validation also extends to physical evidence. Crystals presented by Genhan Eridion exhibit vibrational signatures identical to Vogel's interstellar interface specifications, and these were independently analyzed by 2 laboratories in 2023. The implant itself, scanned via functional MRI in 2021, shows non-terrestrial isotopic ratios in its metallic lattice, and this was published in Exopolitics Journal. Prominent researchers provide independent corroboration. U.S. Army insider J.P. and French contactee Jean-Charles Moyen both confirm shared recollections of Excelsior hangar geometry and Ganymede council chambers. Dan Willis, who is a former Navy codebreaker, states that Danon's predictive accuracy exceeds any single source in 40 years of his disclosure research. On November 11, 2025, Andromedan contactee Alex Collier met Danon aboard a Zenate vessel. The ship's AI recognized her neural signature and granted joint access to fractal environment controls, an interaction Collier documented in real time. Danon's published works include A Gift from the Stars from 2020, We Will Never Let You Down from 2021, The Cedars from 2022, and Encyclopedia Galactica catalogs GFW organizational charts, species morphologies, and historical interventions. 94% of this information subsequently aligned with declassified NASA, ESA, and CNSA documents. The cumulative evidence of her predictive precision, multi-source replication, physical artifacts, and neurotechnological continuity all point to her authenticity as our primary verified connection between Earth and the Galactic Federation of Worlds. For me, it was the Westminster, Colorado event that cemented her authenticity. How many people have ever summoned and produced a fleet of spaceships? On September 27, 2024, Tim and I witnessed this event with about 1,000 other people. As announced weeks before, Thorhan Eridyan executed a UFO show in the night skies. Because of NORAD flight restrictions, Thorhan couldn't bring the fleets of scout ships from the Galactic Federation of Worlds below 62 miles. But in addition to a fantastic display by the GFW extraterrestrial scout ships flying in formations, Thorhan got a TR-3B from the Earth Alliance to fly low above our heads. This is man-made technology, and the appearance of the TR-3B was authorized for the event. Now I am proud to show you the video footage of that night in Westminster, Colorado, that changed my perception of the world forever. What looks like a stream is actually a laser pointer directing our attention in the area of the sky to look. So Elena definitely has some pull with the Federation. I couldn't understand the 62-mile restriction when Elena announced it that night, but I later learned from the Government Space Command website that 62 miles above sea level is considered the Kármán line, which is the distinction between Earth's atmosphere and outer space, and is widely used by space agencies, the U.S. military, and international bodies as a practical boundary between the atmosphere and outer space. So that is another confirmation that Elena is the only official emissary for the Galactic Federation of Worlds. It's quite predictable that a smear campaign would occur, and I pray for her safety, but it's important for people to understand how the Dark Ones work. They have tremendous resources and will do anything to make you fear the Galactic Federation of Worlds. In the end, it's important to realize that the greatest weapon the deep state has ever used isn't force, it's deception. By planting influencers, fabricating personalities, and elevating imposters meant to confuse, distract, and discredit the true emissary to the Galactic Federation of Worlds, they hope to fracture our awareness and weaken the awakening already in motion. But their strategy only works if we allow it. This is the moment to sharpen our discernment, to trust the resonance of truth over the noise of manufactured narratives, and to stand united against those who seek to distort the message. Stay vigilant, stay grounded, and stay aligned with the higher purpose of this mission. If the narrative creates fear, it's an imposter. In the end, truth grows stronger when more of us recognize it, embody it, and guide others toward it. Because the awakening of the many depends on the vigilance of the few.